What I'm curious the thinking that goes into what happens next. Sherry attacks the Macho Man after the match. She's upset that he's lost, seemingly, because of the impact it'll have on her career. And then, of course, Liz, who they showed in the crowd, a good ways away from the ring, 2 rows back down the aisle. She comes to the rescue and throws Sherry out of the ring by her hair, and the crowd goes nuts for them to reunite. Women in the crowd are crying everywhere. And then they reunite, and he embraces her, puts her up on the shoulder, and then when it's time for them to leave, he used to make her hold the ropes open for him, and this time he opens them real big for her. And the replay they show on the pay-per-view isn't of the match at all, but it's of him picking her up. So he started the match as a heel, worked as a heel, cheating and chairs and all this stuff. But then Liz comes back to him, so now he's a babyface. Has this ever happened before? It's a pretty interesting dynamic that a guy can, start as a heel and work as a heel the entire time, but because a woman likes him, he's a babyface.
Well, I mean,
it really speaks to the power of Liz.
It spoke to the power of the couple.
Mm-hmm.
It spoke to the package of Randy and Elizabeth through the years. That was a unit that, God, they were iconic. Huge heels, huge baby faces, and
Liz was never really a heel.
No, but she managed Randy as a heel, and as a package they were heels. And it just was, come on, man, they were iconic, and everyone loved Liz. She said even as a heel, they loved Liz. And it was a way to bring them back together. And what people don't know is how devoted Randy Savage was to the business and to the angle when he and Liz split on camera. Randy and Liz in real life were married and got a separation, a legal separation.
Wow.
So that if anybody, would say, oh, well, they're really married. No, they're not. That was Randy's dedication to his art and everything that he did. And Jesus Christ, why we got to do this shit? Last week we were talking about Eddie and stuff, and I told you, and I apologize, folks. The visual of Randy and Liz and Sherry all in the ring together, throw Warrior in there, and they're all gone now, was powerful. And it's even more powerful now when you sit there and you watch that and you see them, and knowing how much Randy loved Liz and vice versa, that to watch that, and you're talking about people crying, man, I cried that night, when it happened. It was at work. It was a beautiful story, but it was also those two coming back together, and it was a beautiful story. And it was what it was, but it worked, and onward and upward.
What do you think made Liz so special? There's never really been a character like her since.
She was quiet, classy. Didn't have to say a lot, didn't say a lot. And she was a beautiful woman, but she also was like that girl next door. So I think she was really relatable and easy to like.
This seems like the time when you guys would have taken an intermission. I don't know that it was acknowledged as an intermission. I'm curious, why the hell did WrestleMania used to have an intermission?
Back in the old days, WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, they used to take intermissions on pay-per-view even.
Yeah.
And this was back when you thought you have to have an intermission. You got to sell gimmicks. You got to give people a chance to go get popcorn and something to drink and go to the bathroom. So it was just a mainstay of a live event and a pay-per-view event. Got to give people a chance to go do what they want to do. It was a different time. But what we did for the television audience was we had interviews and stuff with the celebrities that filled that time. Well, in the house for the live event, it was an intermission.
So
it was a long show. It also gives the announcers time to go take a piss. And
so this intermission period here, this is kind of famous, when you did it for house shows and live events, because this would be the Hulk Hogan spot a lot of times, where you would have a really good match as the last match on the card, but Hogan would work right before the intermission, the rumor being so he could get back to the hotel and do his room service and all that.
God.
And beat the fans out of the crowd and beat the traffic and not be mobbed and yada, yada, yada.
No, folks, it was when you're going to do a return so that you could have
tickets
whatever
on
you're
sale.
going to do, and you can come back and announce the return off of an angle that you would shoot in that match. And then when you come back for the return, if it was the blow-off, it would be the last match. But no, it wasn't so he could go back and get room service.
Well, he used to say it is. So
well, I'm sure that's what he did. Well, that wasn't why he was put in that spot.
So he didn't request to be in that spot, you don't think?
He was put. I just explained why he was put in that spot.
Okay.
When we had a hot match that we were the exact same reason why Warrior and Andre the Giant were put on in that spot when we were going to do the return. They were put in that spot so you could come back later on and announce, next time that we are here in the Von Braun Civic Center, it will be one-on-one, and you announce the return off of the angle you shot earlier in the night.
All right.
And then they come back. It wasn't so, well, you know what? Room service stops at 8. We need to get those guys out of here so they can get their egg whites.
The first match back after intermission has a nickname that I've heard. Can you share that?
Popcorn match.
Explain to our listeners who may not be familiar why it's the popcorn match.
Because people went out to get popcorn, and they're coming back from getting their popcorn.
What type of match would usually be in the popcorn match position?
A slower starting match. One that's going to build, put a little time in, get people back to their seats.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.